there's more than $1 million in prizes up for grabs on DraftKings in week 4. And SI fantasy analyst Michael Fabiano and Ben Heisler are here to help you get some of that money by going over the bargain buys and low-owned players. Babs, let me start with you. The inexpensive options for DraftKings on week 4. Who are you taking a look at?
Yeah, last week, Ryan Fitzpatrick proved that the beard is mightier than the mustache, and I like him this week against Seattle at $5,400. You look at the numbers, Seattle's defense has allowed 8 total touchdowns and the second most fantasy points to quarterbacks. DK Sportsbook has this game with an over-under at 54, so this could be a very high-scoring affair. At running back, Mike Davis. He's Christian McCaffrey 2.0. All right, maybe not, but at $5,700, he's looking pretty good. He is getting targeted a ton in this offense. You look at the numbers, 17 targets in fewer than 2 games over the last 2 weeks. The Cardinals have given up the 3rd most receiving yards and nearly 29 fantasy points per game, the running back. So Mike Davis is a very good play. And then Hunter Renfro, he's like the only Raiders wide receiver who's left, right? $4,600. Henry Ruggs III is going to be out. Bryan Edwards is also going to be out. Last week, Renfro, 9 targets, 6 catches, 84 yards, and a touchdown. And the Bills have allowed an average of over 7 catches per game to slot receivers so far this year. So Renfro is a very cost-effective play for DFS owners.
Ben, let me go over to you for the guys that are going to be low-owned. Remember, we want to separate ourselves from the massive. So low ownership, that is crucial to having a winning lineup on DraftKings. Who you got?
No doubt. And these are a lot of fun each and every week, trying to find some of those value plays mixed in with a lot of low ownership. Let's go to Drew Brees. Not a guy that I was high on throughout the course of the season from a season-long perspective, but in daily fantasy, boy, I do like Drew Brees this week going up against the Detroit Lions. The Lions have just given up all sorts of fantasy points to the quarterback spot. Mitchell Trubisky went off for almost 25 in week 1. Aaron Rodgers had a big game in week 2. And then Kyler Murray again in week 3. I expect the same out of Drew Brees. There's a good possibility that Michael Thomas will be back. Also, via Fantasy Labs, the Lions last year allowed the most air yards and yards after catch in the NFL. Currently, this year, they rank 29th according to Pro Football Focus. So Drew Brees should have a field day. The Lions pretty much exclusively play man-to-man, and Brees should be able to find whatever matchup he likes. At the running back spot, this is a little bit more difficult, but I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs here. It's a tougher matchup against Buffalo. He's $6,800, but I think about the volume and opportunity that Jacobs gets, especially at home where we saw the Raiders have a terrific game and a really good game plan against the Saints. I think Jacobs is going to be featured quite a bit against Buffalo. They're so good against the pass that I think they're going to use him and use him a ton. So it's already good value for Jacobs, but I think the volume and opportunity in this game, he could get into the end zone twice. And then lastly, at the wide receiver, the tight end spot, listen, if I like the Lions and the Saints as sort of that sneaky stack of the week, you got to find somebody on the other side, and I think that's T.J. Hockenson this week. $4,800. The Saints are dead last in the NFL at stopping the tight end spot. A lot of people were on T.J. Hockenson last week in the matchup against Arizona. Had a good but not extremely productive game, and I think this is the week where everybody is mad at themselves for just not being on him for a second consecutive week after he let some fantasy owners down last week. He's in a fantastic spot against the Saints this week.
For more of that great DFS advice and analysis like you just got from Mr. Fabiano and Mr. Heisler, get that membership to SI Fantasy Pro for $19.99 a month. And it also becomes with our NFL DFS lineup optimizer. Go to si.com/gambling for more info.